Return to Marvel Rivals, a game that Steam tells me I have about 22 hours of playtime in this game, despite never launching a single match or playing one. Because, you know, that's what I do with Marvel Rivals. I sit here and I look at stuff on the screen and occasionally in a trading match, but that's about all I have for interest. I'm just not a competitive gamer. I'm just not. It just doesn't speak to me. But character design is something I like. And for some reason, I guess Marvel Rivals right now is doing a reggae thing with its music. I guess because Deadpool. I don't know why Devil Dinosaur is here or Frog Thor, but I guess it's some Deadpool nonsense that's going on. I don't care that much. What I want to do, at least to start with, the first thing I want to do is I want to just look at new heroes who I have not looked at before. And I think we're going to start with... Hello. Angela. So Angela is an interesting character from a comics perspective because she did not originate as a Marvel character at all. She originated in Todd McFarlane's Spawn comics back in the day, which was something that he was doing with... can't remember the name of the imprint, but Todd McFarlane and a bunch of other major comics creators back in the 90s broke off from the big studios from DC and Marvel and created their own studio, which was like supposed to be creator-led and creator-first and so on. So very idealistic. And Spawn was one of the big breakout hits of that little comic studio. And Angela originally was a character who was created for that comic. And due to just truly astonishing amounts of bullshit, like Todd McFarlane being very precious about like not giving the rights to the characters that were created under his label, a bunch of copyright bullshit, and a whole bunch of other nonsense. Angela eventually ended up in the hands of, I believe, Neil Gaiman, fuck that guy, who sold the rights to her onto Marvel eventually, and then Angela was, by bits and pieces, written into the Marvel lore. I think somewhere in the connection to like the cosmic Thor bits of the universe. She's not an Asgardian, I don't. Well, she is, isn't she? She's like Thor's sister or something. They've done a whole bunch of shit with her. But the point is, she was never designed for the Marvel universe. She was supposed to be an angel of like literally fucking heaven, who's like a demon hunter who goes around and kills angels. And I remember that because I was reading Spawn back when it was coming out, and she was first introduced as a character. And let me tell ya, she's always been this skimpy in her outfits, but she's never been this jacked like that. And again, I don't know her status in the Marvel comics right now, but she's, boy howdy, she was never quite that shredded in the comics that I remember. Not that I disapprove. So one thing about Angela that I notice immediately... Oh, I notice a few things immediately, let's be real. But one thing I notice immediately is girl has fucking battle scars, right? And that shouldn't be notable, really, when you have a character who's like, I'm a warrior and I fight all the time and I go into battle, and I was like... It shouldn't really be notable that they have battle scars. That should be sort of like, yeah, of course, like if they fight in hand-to-hand combat while dressed like that all the time, one would expect, right? But it is notable, because the vast majority of the time when I look at character designs in video games, and it's like, this character is a warrior, they fight all the time, they do battle, they're like a rough life of constantly fighting opponents, and it's like, they show up, and like all of their clothes look absolutely pristine and perfect, like they haven't even been worn even ones that came straight off the rack, and their bodies are pristine, right? Like there's not a scar, there's not an injury, there's not a wound, there's not a scuff, there's nothing, right? Like there's no physical visual evidence that this character has actually led a life of strife and conflict and like hard physical battle, right? Like that. And it's one of the things, like, it's one of the things that annoys me about the character design of games like well, a lot of the fucking gacha games, like Genshin Impact, for example, and stuff like that. It's like, characters never have bodies that reflect the lives that they lead. And so it's nice to see here with Angela, it's not just that she has scars, it's like, those ain't pretty scars, right? Like, those aren't just like, oh, it's a little line that we sort of scribbled across her chest with a brown marker or whatever. It's like, no, you can see, like, there's a fucking chunk of flesh missing from where those scars are, and that's nice. Like, I think she could do with a couple more, but it's nice that it's there, that you have that that aspect of the storytelling, right? Like that this is a character who leads the kind of life that leaves you with these marks, right? And it's something that's just missing. It's a weird thing that's just missing from so much fucking character design for no good fucking reason except, I guess, a worry that a character having battle scars makes them less appealing for some fucking reason that I don't pretend to understand. Especially women are often like, there is, with female characters especially, a general unwillingness to display them with physical scars, right? Like with physical damage to them, because like the point of woman is to be pretty. And if woman not perfect pretty, then woman worse bad, don't like some bullshit like that. And it baffles me sometimes because like if the whole appeal, like you have a character who's like a fighter, who's a warrior, who's like, part of the appeal is that they're fucking fucked up. Right, that they're scarred, that they have damage to them. Like, that's part of the appeal. That's part of the point. That's part of what makes them cool and interesting and fun to look at. And so there's this fucking weird attitude amongst a lot of character designers, apparently. Well, a lot of companies, probably more like, that characters should not show battle damage, right? Like, on the one hand, we say, oh, this character's this character's a hermit who lives in the woods and fights bears with their bare hands. But on the other hand, no damage, right? Like no physical deformity, no actual consequences of the life that they led. It's very annoying. It's also rare, is another thing. Like, this is in character design. It's rare that women get to just be actually fucking jacked. And I will say, like, Angela here is, if you compare Angela to female powerlifters, for example, they don't tend to have quite this ripped of a physique. This is more of a bodybuilder physique, ultimately. Like with the fucking tight abs and like that shit. Whereas with someone who's like a powerlifter, someone who's like more of a wrestler or things like that, you would expect a little bit more body fat. You would expect a little bit more like thickness like that. But it is rare that female characters get to be this fucking jacked. And it's even rarer, by the way, and this is another thing, it's even rarer that a female character gets to be this fucking jacked and it's horny, right? And like this is because this is sex appeal. Like this is fucking for the muscle mommy lovers. This is horny shit. This like Marvel Rivals has sort of the reputation of being the gooner game, which I say not as a negative, but there's a truth to that. Like Marvel Rivals is a game that's very much in tune with trying to appeal to audiences' sort of tastes in various ways, and one of the ways is like in sexualization. But what I've come to appreciate about Marvel Rivals is that there is variety to it. It's not just, again, going back to the gacha games, it's not the same tiny little spindly anime babe over and over and over again in different costumes with like barely any physical difference. Like they do go and broaden the scope of the kinds of horny that they're appealing to. And that's something to me that makes this feel more honest, more earnest than a lot of other gooner slop, right? Like a lot of other stuff that's like, yeah, horny, big titty anime based, but it's just the same fucking babe over and over again. That's lazy. This feels like yeah, this is horny, this is sex appeal, but it's sex appeal for more than just like 2.5 average people, right? It's like it goes into niches, and it seems to know what muscle mommy lovers want, right? And like a lot of it is also just the way that Marvel Rivals generally approaches its texture work is like you can see it in the way they paint the abs, for example. Like see how much structure is, I wish I could zoom in closer. See how much structure there is in the way that they paint the abs on the character, the way that they use this layer. This fucking, I've seen someone do like a 3D model breakdown of how this edge lighting works on Marvel Rivals characters. I believe it's like an entirely separate 3D mesh that like clips in and out of the character depending on like some complicated math. That also helps like to really sort of outline them. And like the way the lighting and the texture work works on Angela, they're sexualizing her muscles, right? Like it's not just that she is ripped, it's that you're supposed to really see the weight, the size, the bulge of those muscles in a way that feels tangible. This is something I mentioned before, like the difference between something merely being depicted and something being eroticized has a tendency to be tangibility, has a tendency to be palpability. The difference between rendering something in a way that when you look at it, you can intuit how it feels to touch physically, right? You can see this, like, if you look at a drawing of a character, someone posts some fan art on the internet, and you look at the feet of the character and they're just rendered like a little bit too much, like there's a little bit too much detail there, you kind of go, oh, okay. Like, you kind of know that, okay, that's foot kink, right? Like, that's doing some feet shit, right? Same way with if a character is like has their arms up and the armpit is rendered with a little bit too much detail, you kind of go, oh, okay, I know what that is. I know what that's appealing to, because that's tangibility, right? Like, that's adding more rendering, more detail, more physicality to something to give the sense of like this is physically palpable. You can imagine in your mind what this feels like physically, right? And that's part of how the rendering style of Marvel Rivals is a lot of time. Again, compare and contrast with, like, using Genshin Impact and like Honkai Star Rail shit like that, because they're games that I know, but compare with the way that they texture the skin on their characters, where the focus is much more making it smooth, like making it very uniform, making it like very sort of porcelain-like beautiful. That's not how they texture skin in Marvel Rivals, on the men or the women, right? Like, here, there is structure, there is... like, there's volume, there's bumpiness, there's roughness, right? There is a sense of palpability, which, like, fuck is he? Like, very much the same thing with Venom when you look around this area or this area, right? Like, these things are sculpted in such a way that, like, you can imagine in your head what it would feel like to fucking cup those big juicy orbs, right? I think they did a skin that was like even more explicitly horny, but I don't think I have access to it here. It was that fucking cupcake skin or whatever the fuck it was, where he was like pink and wearing a miniskirt. But I don't think I have it here. I don't think I can see it. That'll be on YouTube then. I'll have to go. But, like, I saw people, like, because people were posting fucking clips of that, right? Being rather distressingly horny. I know there's a Thor skin as well that people have been getting rather... Yeah. What the fuck? Okay, it's a little bit... The level of fucking bulge they put on Thor... little bit excessive, but it's excessive in the way that, like, if you actually look at, like, bar-up gay porn art and things like that, these are kind of the ways in which characters like that tend to made to bulge, right? Like, this is kind of the level that they tend to go for when it comes for these things, which again is like something I appreciate about Marvel Rivals, is that insofar as it's doing appealing to gooner shit, right? It's doing it with an eye towards not just the default assumed heterosexual cisgender straight man, but like how many people can we get fucking horny for our shit, right? Like, how many people can we get to look at this and go, what? Like, how many people can we cause to have a sudden awakening of a feeling they didn't know that they had before? And I appreciate that. Like, I like that in Marvel Rivals. So, character design-wise, other than that, we're sort of dealing with, like, classic sort of fantasy barbarian shit, right? Like Conan the Barbarian ass, where the character is wearing bits, right? Like, there's, like, she's got... Hi, Hermes. What? Oh, he wants attention. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. What? No, you don't want attention. But you do want attention. But you don't want attention. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Hi. It's sort of fantasy barbarian shit, right? Like, where the character is wearing not any real clothes, not anything that actually sort of has a cultural valence or whatever, but, like, yeah, there's a loincloth thing with, like, she's a Roman gladiator sort of thing, why not? Then she has all this fucking gold bullshit that's, like, not practical for battle in any way, shape, or form, but which looks striking. So, like, that's classic comic book shit, right? And then this big wild mane of red hair. Which again, Angela, to my memory, back in the Spawn comics, she used to be like have a perm. Like she used to be like permanently curly haired. Which they've sort of stepped away, like, which again, I'm sure that has changed a million times over the course of comics. The 90s was a different time. Where here they're settling in for like much more of like a wild mane, right? Like this isn't smooth hair that sort of gently lies across her shoulders. This is like it pokes up in different directions. It's a big like, right? So you have this lioness thing going on, this wild mane of red hair, which as a character design move often is like, oh, that's passion, that's anger, that's like, that's the classic sort of redhead stereotype. Yeah, so we're doing red and gold, which, like, I am sort of tired of red and gold as a primary color scheme. I feel like these all-gold axes on that all-gold arm, it looks a little bit like... It could do with, like, a little bit of black or a little bit of, like, silver or something else to just break up this enormous monocolored block on her. Where, like, I feel like gold is generally kind of overused. And here, it really feels like the handles of the axes maybe should be a different color, or they should have, like, some filigree or something, or there should be some detailing on the armor bits that isn't just, like... It looks like someone just took the paint bucket and painted the whole thing in the same shade in Photoshop kind of vibe. Like, there is variation there, but it does feel like they could have done a little bit more to make that visually interesting or contrast it a little bit better. Outside of that, she's doing sort of classic... Like I said, like Frank Frazetta or Conan the Barbarian shit, combined with, like, if you look at the way that her gauntlets here are, like, textured, there's a sort of futuristic vibe to it a little bit, sort of space science fantasy-esque, with all these overlapping, interlocking circles and things. In a way that is, like, it doesn't look like fantasy armor so much as it looks like there's something a little bit sci-fi about it. The way it's put together. Yeah, very cool. And like we're doing the stereotypes, right? Like with the fucking tattoo that doesn't mean anything and things like that, but it's effectively put together. I like, actually, again, the headpiece, if it wasn't just all fucking gold, but I do like the way that the headpiece, like, makes her taller, right? Like, she's already a very tall, very bulky character. The headpiece makes her even taller, and it gives her, like, a sort of upright, very sort of powerful, dignified bearing. Like, again, imagine her without it, which, actually, maybe we don't have to imagine. Oh! Oh, there's also one of those! I see! I was wondering if we could find a skin that didn't have the headgear. No, they're preserving the headgear mostly. But if you imagine her without the headgear, and imagine how much that changes the bearing of her character, right? Then she becomes more of a sort of berserker barbarian sort of type, whereas the headgear, because it is so stately and it is so fancy, you sort of get more the vibe of, like, this is a leader, this is someone who's out in front, who's, like, special, important. Like, a fancy hat is usually the easiest way to make a character look like they're more important than the goons and, like, the random mooks on a battlefield, and I think this one serves the purpose of doing that. Also, fucking the animator who handles her key poses, again, talking about this thing about appeal, right? Like, the way that she maintains this powerful S-curve right down through, so you really get, like, the curve in on that chest, like, we get the breasts out front, like, the hip cocked, you really get that appealing S-curve. Right? You can see it running through. Like, there's some really good key posing happening. I don't know if that is also in-game, like, how her key posing is there, but we can maybe look at that later. But, like, the animator who's animating here knows how to make a character just, like, have a really appealing contrapposto to really emphasize the physique again. That's nice. Anyway. Speaking of, like, equal opportunity fan service, here's one for the robot fuckers, and there's one for the furries. Like, just everyone gets one. Although, frankly, actually, maybe not so much, really. Because, like, This is a little bit... This is more like a bodysuit, really. Initially, I thought it was supposed to look like a cyborg body, which I think it kind of is. But I don't know that this skin is quite pulling it off, because it's just kind of like a super tight bodysuit. Yeah. And that's actually... Hang on, let me just... Yeah, because, like, look at the way that the transition from her chest down to her hip is handled here, relative to... Can I skip that, please? No, but can I skip... Okay, I need... Fine. But then here... Like, you can see that the way it's handling the mesh is, like, that's not quite... And as a result, like, she looks a lot less ripped, right? Like, they've basically taken her abs away from her profile here, which, like, that feels like it kind of defeats the point of Angela a little bit. Like, look at the way that this is sort of scooped in. And again, if she was actually a robot, if she was, like, actually, like, a fucking full cyborg thing going on, then you could do some cool shit by, like, having... like, bits of her anatomy kind of missing or replaced with machinery. Like, mild body horror or, like, just have exposed wiring or whatever. But this feels a little bit... This is not that good. This feels like she's sort of a rubber toy that has been badly squeezed around the middle. Yeah, this lacks that appeal. Like, this... The muscle mommies, I think, are not going to get that much out of it. And because it's just sort of a bodysuit that's painted on her, I don't think the robot fuckers are going to get that much out of it either, actually. This isn't really android fucker skin the way that perhaps it ought to be. And, like, I will... Like, and that... Yeah, it's a... What's the quality levels of... I think that means it's, like, supposed to be, like, legendary, right? Like, the highest grade. I feel like for something that's, like, supposed to be a high-grade cosmetic... They could have gone and done some more mesh changes to make this work a little bit better. Like, the robot parts, right? Like, all this fucking metal shit that's stacked onto her, that should have volume. That should, like, buff up her profile, like, buff up her volume, be, like, look like actual armor plating. But here it just kind of looks like, yeah. Which, like, that would require changes to her mesh that would require extra work. But this feels a little bit on the quick and dirty side to me, frankly. Yeah. Because, like, you can see they do it with her feet, right? Like, where her legs and ankles are replaced by these, like, robot joints. They could have done more to replace her actual body with robot parts. Because, like, look at that. Like, look at that curve down to there, and then that's supposed to be her ass? Like, that... No, that's not... That doesn't work. There's a lack of volume here. Yeah, this is a weird one. They've made some weird changes to her mesh that I don't understand why they would do that. It feels like an attempt to try and make her skinnier, which, like, number one, why would you do that to her, of all characters? And number two, that's not going to appeal to the people who are, like, into this shit that much. Yeah, this just feels like body paint. This is actually not very good. Meanwhile... the furries seem to have gotten away with something a little bit better. For one thing, because she, like, they maintain the belt, they maintain, like, the bulk on the front of her here, so that, like, the outline of this is not quite as fucked as it is on the robot skin. They maintain the shreddedness. Again, props to the texture painters on Marvel Rivals, because, like, a character being furry, right? Like, a character, like, having, like, a fuzzy furry body and things like that, usually a lot of fluffy fur, that's gonna disguise the volume underneath, so you can't see what shape they are, right? The texture painters on this are, like, doing a really smart job of painting with shadow and volume to maintain, like, the underlying body shape. But still, she looks like she has, like, a thick, dense layer of fur on top of it. That's pretty good. I do wonder about the face. Like, is this from... This is from Marvel Rivals, so this is like an original to them. Like, the only thing that's, like, making this less than perfect furry bait is the face is still human. Where, like, I think the mask is sort of supposed to imply puppy mask a little bit over in, like, a muzzle. A little bit over in that vibe. But it does feel like if they'd made her full furry, like, fully given her the furry head, I think that would, like, I think that would have broken some people's brains. I think some people would have thoroughly fallen apart. I appreciate that they've puffed up her mane, though. Like, you can really see here they've increased the volume of, like, her big mane of hair to, like, really lean into that, like, big fluffy fur aspect of her. And it works really well, like, for this skin especially. With, like, this big furry collar, like, shoulder fluff that she's got going on here. And she's got a collar with a ring on it, too, which, like, yeah, they know what they're doing. Oh, they've even got the fucking paw pads. It's not just like, okay, they're doing the toe beans. They know what they're doing. Should have animated the ears. Yeah, that's one thing. Like, her rig, presumably, the rig that they're working with presumably doesn't have animation bones with which to do animation on her ears. And it doesn't look like they've even done, like, it doesn't even look like they've made them floppy. Where, like, I feel like if they could have added a little bit of secondary motion on the ears so that they, like, react and, like, flop just a little bit, that might actually have helped them feel softer. Still, like, yeah, and here also you can kind of see what I was talking about in terms of there being too much gold in her base color scheme. Here, because you don't have quite so much golden armor all over her, here the axes get to stand out, right? Like, they get to, like, here are the gold elements that are like got just the shoulder piece, the little orb things, the mask. Now they get to be accent colors, and they sort of balance better, I think. Same thing with the spear, where here it just feels a little bit much. Yeah, I would have given her, like, honestly, for a skin like this, rather than that mask thing, that, like, with the implied teeth inside of it, just give her a muzzle or something. Like, and I mean, like a dog's muzzle or something, like something that implies that more than a mask to play into the fantasy completely. Because I'm not 100% sure what to make of, like, the red whatever that's pouring out the side of it. And, like, the gold thing. Like, I think they could have done something more interesting with, like, maybe a, I guess, black to contrast the fur? Red, maybe? Something more interesting could have been done with her face here, I do feel. And I kind of wish they kept the scars on her as well. Because, like, you can have scars over fur. Like, you can just have that be, like, a little bit of something that's, like, you can still have that. There's no need to remove it. Yeah, it's a little bit on the line of... like, in terms of, it doesn't really look like someone's persona, this, very much. Like, there is definitely an element of the classic cosmetic design of, like, we've added all these details to make it cool and to, like, match the silhouette of the old character, and it's not like, I don't think someone would necessarily design their persona in this way. It feels less like a character, right? Like, and more like a costume, which, like, that's sort of inevitable with a lot of these cosmetics. Where I feel like a few changes here and there could maybe make this feel more like a specific character with their own personality. But that's nitpicky, really. Congratulations to the furries. Oh, well. That's a haircut that says, oh! Big fucking anime-ass spiral ponytail. Okay. Interesting. So it's card-themed. Ace of Spades. It is a Marvel Rivals official. Something to do with the Grandmaster, apparently. I think the idea is that it's a little bit along the lines of, like, being dressed up in evening wear kind of skin is what they're going for. Like, she's sort of wearing a suit jacket with, like, the fluffy cravat thing. Which, like, yeah, I can see that. I don't know that this boo thing works. For that, like, the armor generally just kind of clashes with it. I feel like if you wanted to do, like, a cool casino-themed, maybe you should have gotten rid of some of the armor. Like, maybe that should have been de-emphasized in favor of the formal wear. Like, just in terms of, like, you're trying to hit the theming, right? Of Angela as, like, a croupier at a casino kind of vibe, or black tie event sort of situation. I do like the puffy sleeve, though. I kind of like the puffy shoulder sleeve. There's a femininity to that I quite like as an aspect of this. Which, again, like, you could have played with some classic sort of butch lesbian formal evening wear kind of vibes, or... Yeah, I think the armor is the thing that's putting me off of this one a little bit. Like, again, I don't know if there's a narrative context to this, that she's supposed to be, like, the body... Like, is this, like being the Horseman of Apocalypse, but she's, like, the guardian of the Grandmaster's Casino or something along those lines? I don't know. But I feel like the warlike aspects sort of are getting in the way of the more interesting thing, which is the white tie. I do like the ponytail, though. I like the big fucking corkscrew ponytail is fun. And it's like a nice contrast to like having a black and white primary and then the big red hair as like a contrast to the black and white primary color scheme. I like that. Kind of wish, yeah, like the silver is good. Again, I feel the gold accents maybe aren't doing as much for it as they should be. I do like turning her ribbons. By the way, the ribbons here. So Spawn, as a hero in his comics, he has like these chains, right? They're like sentient chains and they do shit. They lash out. They tie things up like part of his sentient suit, whatever. And Angela and her angels were introduced in that comic as a sort of like mirror version of Spawn, right? Like, they're like angels, so they have all the same kinds of powers, but like they're all angels and they're all like sort of undressed and horny. And they had these ribbons instead of chains that would do the same things, like it would lash out and like tie people up and shit like that. I guess that's not part of her kit here. Or maybe it is. Like, maybe she has an ability that uses them. Although here they're just like, again, in the comics, they would be floating around, like sort of dangling in the air, kind of like a little bit tentacle-esque around her, where here they're sort of more locked up, which is interesting. But point of bringing that up, I do quite like recontextualizing her ribbons as playing cards. I do think that's quite clever. I like that as like an affectation. Let's see, where's the practice mode? Let's go, practice mode. There. Let's see her in action. Angela. Tank, I guess? Vanguard? Ah, there she is.
Despite my name, I am no angel, as our foes will soon learn.
Oh, she just flies by default. Cool. I guess until you switch to her other weapon, which, like... Yeah, like that. Okay, I see. And now we're on the ground. We're doing this shit. And then, what? Ta-da! Okay, but she doesn't seem to have...
I have found one of them.
Again, this is where I don't fucking remember the controls of this. Does she not have, like, a ranged attack at all? Or am I just stupid? Hang on. Whee! No range attack, says chat. Okay. Whee! Valkyrie Tokyo Drift.
Overconfidence will destroy you.
And I guess she does way higher DPS on the ground by being able to spam these. Yeah, I guess something. Okay. Was there a way to... No, there's no way to free the camera, is there? No. Okay, she does look good in motion, I will say. Anyway, Angie, was that the extent of you? Right, simple color swap. Not really much, if anything, to say there. Although, I do think the color balance on her arm and her axis is better here. Because you have the silver, but then you have the blue and the cerulean coming in over that and sort of creating, like, breaking up the silhouette of it a little bit. Like, I don't think this is a better color scheme for her. I think the gold and red is definitely better, but you can kind of see how those axes have a little bit more visual interest to them, right? Than here. Okay, who else have we not looked at? Blade! What? What? What are you winding up? Do you want to go out? Want to go out? Go out. Either leave or stay. No, okay. No, he didn't want to leave. He wanted me to open the door so he could look out of the door for like 5 seconds and then come back in. Oh, right, the MVP of Angela. Jesus, I forgot about that. The MVPs. Oh yeah, that's a fairly basic one. Which you would expect. Like, they want you to buy the fancier shit. Basically, she just does some attacks and then, yeah. Some kind of shattering reality sort of situation. I guess if she's being mind controlled kind of vibes. I don't know. Ooh. Oh, you want out now? Hermes. I swear to God. There. I do quite like this one. It has like these little moments of like heavy zoom and like when she does the crossed hand things. That definitely... that has some impact to it. Even if this finishing thing is a little bit lame. Like this being pulled so far back and just like having a tiger in the background, that's not really... doesn't really make her look that powerful. She's just kind of standing there, or hovering there, I suppose. Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Look at that. That's a fucking illustration with some impact. Not sure exactly what the action is supposed to be leading up to it, but like, there's a fucking key pose and a half. Yeah, that's nice. Good S-curve. And there's some good effects also, like, if I could frame by frame my way through this, I would, but there's some good, like, blurring effects on it as well. That could be a little hornier. Oh, I kind of want to see that one on the actual... Yeah, where it imitates the coil of cards already around her arm. That's pretty good. Okay, now Blade. That is a bulky-ass Blade. Admittedly, I have not read anything about Blade in a long time in the comics. But to my memory, Blade was always supposed to be a little bit more of a wiry guy. A little bit more agile, a little bit less bulky. Which, like, that sort of seems to be a thing in Marvel Rivals, is most of the like, except for Bruce, who gets to be scrawny and like Spider-Man, I think. There is... Yeah, okay. Yeah, Daredevil is definitely not supposed to be that much of a brick shithouse. A little bit of a Marvel Rivals thing, I guess, to just kind of pump up the bulkiness of the dudes. Which, like, I will say for Blade, it sort of depends on what version of him you're doing, right? Because, like, Wesley Snipes' Blade is, like, effortless cool, right? Like, he's, like, effortlessly cold, effortlessly cool, sort of immaculate perfect vibes. Whereas there's been other versions of Blade that are scrappier and that are much less sort of Matrix cool, where he's, like, where there's more battle damage, where there's more roughness, like living a rough life kind of vibe. It feels like they're doing more the Wesley Snipes version. That was a weird way to say that name. Here. Right? Like, where you have this perfect coat and, like, the sunglasses and very sort of immaculate vibes on him. Thank God they didn't give him a fucking Killmonger haircut, though. In no small part because I don't think that would fit Blade very well. Blade has had a few haircuts. Like, I remember, because I saw this skin online. And this is, like, it's a Marvel Rivals Z version of it, but this is more or less what Blade looked like in the first comic that he showed up in. He showed up for the first time in, well, oh yeah, it's there, Tomb of Dracula #10 back in 1972, where Blade was, essentially he was introduced to be to be a contrast to the sort of very white old man European, sort of like the vampire hunters that were otherwise on Dracula's tail. Where, like, I think Van Helsing was there, like a dude in a wheelchair, like old white dudes, sort of very, very sort of stuffy. And Blade was more of like an urban hero, like using a fucking wooden teak knife to just hunt vampires on the street. He did things his own way. He was like not respectful of the old ways kind of vibe. And this is more, he had sillier glasses. Like, his glasses in the first comics, he showed up in a much sillier than this. But this is more or less what he looked like in his first incarnation. That's actually a reasonably accurate representation of the original Blade. Except he very specifically used a wooden knife. A knife made out of teak, that he used for all his vampire hunting. He didn't have a sword. He also talked in, like, a sort of fairly problematic 1970s, like what a white comic book writer in the 1970s would imagine that an urban black man would sound like kind of vibe, right? It was of a kind and a time with blaxploitation. And I guess they're representing that in the game as well, which, okay, cool. I do kind of like the short sleeves on the trench coat. Like, I like the exposed arms as a thing. I think if he'd had, like, the full suit and he'd only had, like, long sleeves and all that, that would run the risk of making him feel a little bit stuffy. Like, maybe a little bit buttoned up and formal, where I feel like with, like, the angled sunglasses and the tattoos and, like, the chain around his wrist, like, and neck, there's supposed to be a little bit more of, like, fucking, like, he's not, this guy isn't boring, right? Like, he's not a stick in the mud. He doesn't have, he's not, like, a rules follower sort of guy. There's supposed to be a little bit more personality. I think the sleeves being rolled up does do that for him. I don't know about the knee pads on the pants. They feel a little silly. Like, he's a half vampire. It's like, what, is he gonna scuff his knees? It feels like the chest armor makes sense in terms of, like, protecting his heart. This feels a little bit safety gear. Like he's going to a skate park and his mom insisted kind of vibe. I guess it's to bulk up his legs a little bit. I don't really know why they're doing that. I think he could have better shoes, too. Like give him some nicer looking shoes. Give him something that looks a little fly instead of this shit. Like either that or give him combat boots, right? Yeah, the belt is maybe a little silly, but then he's also got a magic sword that clearly has some shit going on inside of it. So I guess we're doing a blade that, like, has access to more magical artifacts. Again, I don't know his state of play in the comics right now, but again, Blade, the way that he was introduced and the way that he was played for a while was half vampire, but he didn't really use, like, a whole fuck ton of supernatural shit. Like, he was a dude who got shit done with a wooden knife and a gun, right? Like, that was sort of more Blade's vibe for a time. But I wouldn't be surprised if in Marvel Comics he's been associated with a much more supernatural for a while now. The sword on his back is Dracula's. I guess that makes sense. It does look like a Dracula sword. I mean, so does that one. That one also looks a lot like a Dracula sword, quite frankly, but I guess that makes sense. I do feel like if it was Dracula's sword, silver would make more sense for it. Because, like, right now, if this is supposed to be Dracula's sword, I would have made that stand out. I would have made, like, if this sword is, like, has a golden handle and is, like, sort of has all this shit going on, I would have made that one look different. Maybe more like, sort of dignified or down to earth or simple or elegant or silver or something else along those lines. He was included in Midnight Suns. Yeah, I remember. I didn't play with him much in Midnight Suns, but I played Midnight Suns a lot. He feels younger, too, in terms of his energy. And again, I'm comparing him with the Wesley Snipes version, right? Like, who was, like, always kind of a ice-cold motherfucker. Like, always felt like he was sort of older than his appearance. I like the earrings. This feels like a younger Blade, yeah. Feels like a Blade that maybe has a sense of humor, right? Okay, so this is Marvel Rivals lore stuff, mostly. But yeah, this, like, I remember the backstory for Blade in Tomb of Dracula was that his mom was, like, giving birth to him, but she was dying, right? Like, it was a bad birth. Like, she was at risk of dying, and then, like, a white vampire shows up. Specifically, a white vampire walks in, like, to, like, Blade's neighborhood and like, charms his way in and pretends to be a midwife in order to get into the room with his mother, and then bites and kills his mother while Blade is being born. And that's, like, his backstory. That's the reason why he's a vampire hunter. I don't think the half vampire thing was introduced right away. That he had, like, special vampire powers from being, like, a half vampire sort of vibe, but it was very explicitly in the first appearance of Blade, like, no, he was born, like, from an act of white violence on a black woman's body. Like it had that political dimension to it. That it was a white man showing up to, like, literally drain his mother's blood, right? Like, that was very much a part of the way that he was introduced back then. Again, era of blaxploitation, right? Like, where there were these sort of black liberation theme, like, political themes that were working their way into a lot of the zeitgeist. I don't know enough about the writer or the context around those comics to say, like, how well it was received at the time, but, like, certainly well enough that he became a Marvel staple. I'm sort of torn on the color Because, like, I like the red accents on the black coat, but I'm not sure I like them the way that they're used. I feel like his coat should, like, if we're doing the classic cool fucking badass vampire hunter trench coat, I feel like the inside here should be red, right? I feel like the inside here should be red, but then we shouldn't have all of these red accents along the other parts. I feel like the red part should be like the inside of the coat instinctively, where all these red accents all over it, the rest of the place, that just kind of feels... It feels random. Like, they don't feel like they contribute to, like, an aesthetic, a vibe, you know? Yeah, it feels like the red could be used a lot better as his accent color. Because, like, definitely red should be his accent color, right? Like, he's fucking Blade. But I don't know about the way that it's used. I do like the chest armor. Like, I like the chest armor as, like, a thing that he's wearing under the trench coat as a practical thing, and then the coat is just to look fucking cool. And it allows him to hide weapons and things like that. I don't know about the belt buckle with the glowing skull on it. That feels a little Doomslayer, which, like, maybe that's what they're going for, is, like, Blade as, like, the Doomslayer of vampires kind of vibe. But that feels a little... It feels cheesy in a way that's not cheesy like the rest of his character design. Oh, well. Okay, what's going on here? Is that a symbiote suit? And then I guess that's Hela? Or something. Or an original villain for Marvel Rivals. I don't know. This feels like it's part of the Marvel Rivals storyline somehow. Because he looks like he's wearing a sort of Venom, anti-Venom symbiote suit kind of deal. It's Null Hela. Oh, okay, it's Hela with null powers. Right. Marvel Rivals really do just be doing whatever the fuck they want, huh? I mean, this is way fucking over-designed. This is, like... Brackets positive, right? Like everything I'm about to say is like positive. This is some shit that you would sketch in your sketchbook in class when you were 10 years old. Like you would read like someone who read King in Black and a Blade comic and went, oh, what if Blade has like a Venom suit and an anti-Venom suit, and then he also has like a Null Blade, and then it's like it has that vibe, right? Like it has that, like, it's just like, let's just throw fucking everything on here. Like it has that vibe. And I get, like, fair play. Like I said, brackets positive. Again, in the same way that Marvel Rivals is a game that has a room for a lot of fan service and, like, porn bait, right? It feels like a game that also has room for a lot of just straight up insane rule of cool shit, right? Where, what if this character had a symbiote suit and also a Phoenix sword of the Phoenix Force or whatever, and he had a gun and a cool glowing eye, and he had like an armor that had like the head of an angel on it, and like it feels like I'm gonna like throw everything at the wall kind of vibe, but then like rendered by someone who actually knows what the fuck they're doing. Yeah, I don't know that there's a critique I could really make of this. Like I could, like there's many things I could critique about it. It's fucking incoherent. It's all over the fucking place. But that does seem to be the point. It does seem to be supposed to be just all the fuck over the place. Like, maximally turbo cool with no regards for, like... Because the black and the white and the orange and the gold... And, like, the sort of soft, organic... tentacle shapes of, like, the Venom thing, and then you have, like, the hard... metallic thing of the armor thing. Like, it's all over the fucking place. Like, it's all over the fucking place. It's the kind of thing, like... It's the kind of thing you can very easily be too cynical to design, right? Like, it's the kind of thing, like... I will say, that would be, like, the saving grace of this. whatever my criticisms may be, is that this feels like it feels enthusiastic. It feels like something that came out of just wanting to see the coolest shit ever. And who cares if it works? It just needs to be the coolest shit ever. Like the fucking glowing eye with the flames out of it. Oh man. And I got, yeah, it is the coolest shit ever. I don't know that I would want to read a comic where this character shows up in. But I guess as a cosmetic for Marvel Rivals, like I don't want to read whatever storyline you would have to concoct to justify this nonsense. But as a cosmetic in Marvel Rivals, I guess it's fine. What's the MVP for that skin? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Like, good posing on the final shot there. Like, where he's whipping the flame around. Good posing, good composition. But, yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Ooh. That's a solid MVP. Like, MVP animations, by default, I feel like should be kind of short and impactful. And I do like that. Like, one gunshot, twirl the sword, get it there, and then do the cool look over the shoulder. That'll do it. Hey, the knife! Oh, cool. Hang on. Let me put him in the costume. Ah, no, they don't. Ah, they don't give him the teak knife. Aw. I was kind of hoping. I was hoping they would give him his wooden knife. But instead, it's a combat knife. Which, okay, fair enough. Like, Blade probably has a million of those. This should be paired with... Yeah, definitely the flame effects on that emote, like on that skin, definitely make that emote work better. And, oh, wow, okay. Then we have the color variant. Oh, the gold is a little much. The gold is a little much. I like the white and purple. I kind of do, actually. And, like, with a little bit of gold accent, it's fine. I think the full golden back on this coat is, like, that's a little... That's maybe a little much. But, like, just a color-swapped Blade where he, like, mostly has white instead of black, that's not terrible as an idea, necessarily. But, yeah, this is... that's a little cheese. That's a little nacho. That's a little cheddar, I think. Let's see. Who else have we seen? Daredevil. Who seems to be on some supernatural shit. Let's see. Fun. He conquered the demon known as the Beast. He found himself with the true devil inside. One of the Beast's captives, Yinglong, offered to help there with the demonic power. Okay, so this is... Again, I don't know if this is what his state is in the comics. If he's, like, been promoted to supernatural character in the comics or whatever. But certainly, the Daredevil I know doesn't have fucking magical hellfire billy clubs. Oh, this is all rival stuff? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Is he a redhead? I guess he's a redhead. Well, okay then. Always has been? Yeah, I guess I'm confused because, like, the last... I never really read much of the Daredevil comics, even when I was a kid. The last thing with Daredevil I've sort of absorbed in my head is, like, the MCU shit and the old Ben Affleck movie. Both of which, like, cast him as a brunette, right? Okay, so there's a couple... So, I guess he has, like, a... I guess the demon inside of him is, like, Chinese-themed? Because it feels like his armor here like with these overlapping plate aesthetics and like the decorations on it, it does feel like it has a certain sort of Chinese aesthetic to it. He lives in Kunlun now. Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is what if Daredevil was a white man who lived in China, I guess. Okay. He's the leader of the Kunlun right now. Oh, he's at a very Chinese time in his life. Yeah. Okay, so that's very much one of the, like, with Marvel Rivals characters, it's like Black Widow is like very, like, it's Black Widow kind of the way you expect her. Blade is kind of like makes sense as Blade. And then occasionally, like, Doctor Strange is like, yeah, that's Doctor Strange, all right. That looks like Doctor Strange. And then sometimes they just do some wild things. Is this in the comics? Like, is he in the leader of the Kunlun in the comics also? No, okay. So that's just Marvel Rivals deciding to go Chinese with him. Fair enough, I guess. Again, I do feel like Daredevil as a character shouldn't be a brick shit house. Because, like, his whole vibe of him, like, he's often paired up with Spider-Man, right? The vibe of him is much more athletic. The vibe of him is much more guy who swings along the rooftops, rather than dude who, like, fucking punch fist wrestles motherfucker. Like, it's agility, it's him being faster than other people. Like, that's his radar sense thing, right? Is that he's faster than other people. He can sense things before they happen. He's a master martial artist. I don't know that I like pumping him up to be so fucking roided out. Like, he fucking Chad ass with that giant chisel jawline. Like, Jesus. Yeah. I don't know that I like this as a Daredevil specifically. I feel like this feels kind of alien to my understanding of Daredevil at the very least. Same thing with the battle armor, right? Like again, because in my head, Daredevil is an agility-based character. Let me just... What's his abilities here? Okay, so he's fully on some magic demon shit, I guess. Let the devil out! Indeed. Yeah, so this is like, they're casting Daredevil, like, what if he was much more of a brawler, right? Like, what if he was much more of a get up in your face and beat you senseless? On the hunt. No escape. On the hunt. Ooh, cool animation on that. Nice effects on that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, but still he runs up walls. And, like, you can kind of see, like, with the bulky-ass frame that he has, how fucking big he is. That wall run just looks a little awkward. That just looks a little weird. It doesn't look quite as natural as like, a really sort of skinny guy, like, wall running. Or, like, a more of an athletic guy. So yeah, I'm not 100% a huge fan of this version of Daredevil. But I guess that it makes sense as design for if he's supposed to be like an up-close brawler. If he's supposed to be like a get in your face and beat you to death with two sticks kind of guy. Then it makes sense to bulk him up and make him bigger for that. It just feels like, why would you use Daredevil for that, to me? Ooh, hello. Yeah, they're giving him much more superhero physique here. Like, here he's more chunky, right? Like, he's more thick in it. And this seems to slim him down on the waist a little bit to give him, like, more of that fucking Dorito shape. To really sort of ramp up the... Yeah. Basically, what if Daredevil in an Iron Man suit, but also a little bit... Yeah. Oh! The logo is projected by a little holo projector. That's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. That's funny. I like that. Looks like it's a Marvel Rivals original, this one, which, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, a little perfunctory, like, it's a little bit... This feels like the whole point of this is just to... Like, what if he had an Iron Man suit kind of vibe? Which, like, fair enough as the premise for a skin. I do feel like the red, like, Okay, so the color scheme here is they're doing, like, red and black primary, right? Like, with a little bit of gray for an accent color. And, like, that's pretty striking. And then, like, the idea, I think, is that these blue tech flames, or whatever the fuck they're supposed to be, they're supposed to contrast with the blue, right? Like, they're supposed to be like a standout. They have, like, a holographic effect with the blue horns. I don't know 100% that I like it. Like, not that it doesn't work. It's just, I feel like this purple-blue thing, it doesn't feel of a kind with it. But I guess that if it's like, he's still supposed to have the demon here. He's still supposed to have the devil. So he has all this tech gear to protect him, like, on the physical plane, and then he has the demon powers. Then I guess it makes sense. Like, from that perspective, yeah, okay. It makes sense to have the flames and shit be contrasting. But then it sort of feels like this is supposed to be holographic tech shit, in which case I would make it more of a kind with the suit. I don't know. I'm nitpicking. It's not really a substantive criticism. Yeah, this is very much rule of cool, and fair enough on it. Classic Daredevil. Just a color swap, but we get the yellow devil. Kind of. Maybe a little bit too bright. A little too shiny there. Like that. But hey, I guess it is his original color scheme, kind of. Again, works better perhaps on a guy in a tighter spandex. Okay, let's just get him out of that costume. There we go. Yeah, sort of an introduction MVP animation, which is to say it's like, here's him using his powers and then doing some cool shit with his weapon, but he's not engaging in any action, right? He's just kind of striking a pose, which fair enough. I do wish he would dodge a projectile or something. Like, the radar sense goes and then he, like, effortlessly dodges 2 projectiles and does something to demonstrate the use of his powers a little bit more. Okay, I like the final pose there. I like the opening pose as well. Cool little MVP with, like, a cinematic aspect to it. Even if that kick there is, like, very impactful and cool, I'm not 100% sure it actually makes sense as a move. There's something about, like, the arc of the kick relative to where the baton goes, where it feels like he should be kicking the baton into the screen rather than out the left side. Okay. That's Daredevil. A little bit different, not quite to my taste. Now Pool. Oh, yeah, no, of course. Yep, okay. So, if Deadpool isn't fucking annoying, if Deadpool isn't the most obnoxious thing in the room, you're doing Deadpool wrong, right? If Deadpool isn't a fucking tedious, exhausting meme lord piece of garbage asshole who's, like, funny for 5 seconds and then he's just annoying for the rest of it, then you're doing it wrong, right? Deadpool is not supposed to be cool, right? Deadpool is never supposed to be cool. Like, this is okay, so that's not true entirely. When Deadpool was first introduced as, I think, an X-Men villain, he was supposed to be cool. He was essentially a version of Deathstroke from the Batman comics, like a very sort of obvious ersatz version of him, which Rob Liefeld introduced into an X-Force comic, I think, where he was like a menacing, like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you all, I'm Deadpool, and I'm gonna murder you. Ugh. Right, like, he was very much, like, on that sort of edgy vibe, and the comedy persona for him developed gradually with, like, Deadpool becoming more and more sarcastic and then eventually developing fourth wall awareness. So, like, the transformation of Deadpool into this was very much a gradual thing, right? Like, it was something that happened over time through successive writers of the character, because the character that he was when he was introduced was just not interesting. Like, at all. Because he was just generic evil badass mercenary guy number 588 billion, right? He was a Rob Liefeld character in every sense of the word. Except he was usually drawn nicer than a lot of Liefeld characters. At least the comics that I remember, which, again, I'm not a comics expert, so it's like, results may vary. I'm sure he never had feet in any of the panels. It was Joe Kelly who gave him his comedy. Yeah, that makes sense to me. What are you doing with your chest, Wade? You see how it's jiggling when I turn him around? How are you doing that? Why are you doing that? I think it's probably just like something about like it's probably a rendering thing with how Marvel Rivals renders the thing, but you can see how his whole fucking chest rises as I turn him. That's funny. But yeah, there's jiggle physics on this Deadpool. There's a lot of jiggle physics, in fact. I do like that his suit is damaged. I like that it's like patched up with like he's clearly just stapled it to himself, both on the face and here. I like that it's a little bit fucked up. I think that might be tape. That feels correct for Wade. Because Wade is a fuck-up. Like, fundamentally, deeply, he's a fuck-up. He's a fuck-up who can't take care of himself, who can't take care of anyone or anything. And some writers have used that to be sort of more emotionally complex with Wade, like sort of diving into his fractured psyche and his trauma and all that shit. And most of the time, he's just kind of a fucking man-child failed son, right? And I do like a fucked-up, damaged suit as an expression of that. Same thing, like, the pouches. The pouches are stupid, right? Like, these pouches are stupid. Why does he have all these fucking pouches? I'll tell you why. Rob Liefeld is why. Rob Liefeld is why he has the pouches, because Rob Liefeld, in the 90s, when he was designing characters, doesn't matter. Wolverine, pouches. Doesn't matter. Fucking Cyclops, he has pouches. Any character that Rob Liefeld touches, pouches. They have pouches strapped to their legs. They have pouches around their waist. They have fucking belts of pouches that contain nothing, right? It's not a utility belt. There's nothing in there. The characters never reach into their pouch to catch another round of bullets or fucking whatever. No. They just have them, right? They just have them strapped around their everything everywhere. And it's one of the things that's like a meme about 90s Marvel comics especially, and especially Rob Liefeld's version of it. And I do like that it's represented here with just a whole fuck ton of completely useless pouches just strapped to him. They could go harder with that. They could have even more of that shit. But as a joke, I do like it. Okay, that's just the colorway. I guess an X-Force skin for him. Okay. And oh, okay. And again, look at his fucking skin. So Deadpool, I think there's been changes to his status quo about what his powers are and like how they work and shit, but he has a healing factor, right? And he has a healing factor, which is like the only thing that's keeping him alive from a cancer that's eating him from the inside out. So Deadpool exists in this permanent state of being eaten alive by cancer and also regenerating from the cancer. That is why he has like the fucked up, like if you watch the Deadpool movie, you know this. I do like that he doesn't look cool, right? Like that his fucked up like body is not made to look cool. It could be more grody, it could be more like fucked up and ugly, but I do like that they're showing like no, this is not sexy, this is not cool or pretty, this is like, this is grody shit, right? Like Deadpool looks fucked up. I like that. I'm glad that that's there. And then outside of that, just yeah, idiot dipshit maximalism. With like, yeah, dead unicorn, because funny, dead unicorn, Deadpool thing, unicorn on the belt. And he's got big feather hat, and he's got fucking Deathstroke mask. Literally the fucking Deathstroke mask. And like, yeah, again, Deadpool ought to be annoying. He should look stupid most of the time. He should look very over the top, poorly put together. Like someone vomited up a whole theaters worth of a costume closet. That's very cool. Like, Deadpool is one of those characters where you can get away with putting anything on him. Like, I'm kind of excited to see what they do with skins for Deadpool, because you can put anything on that man. Like, you can fucking slap this dude in anything. And it's kind of okay because it's Deadpool, right? Like, because he's not supposed to be good design, really. He's not really supposed to look cool. He's not really supposed to look coherent. He's not really supposed to be put together. Yeah, this is a pretty good pool, I will say. This is a pretty good one. Oh, I see. He wrote his own item ability descriptions, huh? Oh, they're doing fucking fourth wall shit with him, too. He literally detonates his own thought. Okay. Okay, so that's swapping between. So here his... Okay, so God, he has a lot of abilities. Jesus fucking Christ. Fourth wall break. Yes, very good. Sound effects, very good. Punch baddies, get XP, pick a power up. Yeah. Yeah. Hippity hoppity, Deadpool's on your property. Oh, fuck off. Oh, good jump animation. Shit. Okay, I kind of have to go play with this. That animation looks too good to ignore. Okay, so Deadpool shows up in every category.
Locked, loaded, and loudmouth. Just the way you like me.
Oh, they're really going ham with it. They're going for it with the fucking... The ability changes depend on the class you pick. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So they were really fucking going for it with Wade here, huh?
You can't handle the cute. I enjoyed that way too much.
Okay.
Flushy power! My meter's full. That's gotta be good, right? I'll be at least celestial rank. Flushy power!
Okay.
Who's the man? Wait is.
Okay, I really like...
Their stupid faces.
Oh, just let me jump. Okay, can I... No ability cooldown. Thank you. That is fully some Bugs Bunny shit. Look at his feet. So it's not just that he's got, like, he's got the feet way out to the side. Straight out to the side. But it's also... that you have these little wiggle animation effects on the side of it that really play into. That's very cute. That's very cute.
Now it's done, hero.
Double kill!
Another name off the old hit list.
That's 3!
What are you aiming at? Guess who just showed their stupid faces? I wouldn't get back up if I were you.
Double kill!
Okay. I like that. I like Wade. They've gone ham with it. They've gone real ham with the way that they put him together. I like that. I appreciate that. Okay, who else is new? Gambit! Hello, chérie. Classic Gambit, too. Like, real classic Gambit. Trench coat, staff and purple and all. Rémi Lebeau. I like the hair fringe. Like, they've made him a pretty boy. A little bit. Not a lot. A little bit. Oh, is that Rogue? Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. Does he change cards? No, okay, that would be too much. The tattoos are a good addition. I like that. To my memory, Gambit doesn't usually have tattoos. I think these are like a Rivals thing. I like them. Like, the tattoos do imply... Because, like, Remy... This is where I fucking need Nikhil Clayton on this with me. But if I had Nikhil here, it'd be 5 hours. But Remy, to my memory, he's had like 15 backstories, probably. But the thing is, like, he is supposed to be like a street kid with the Thieves Guilds who's kind of lived a rough and tumble life. And, like, I like tattoos as evidence of a character who's, like, not too precious about... you know, preserving the sanctity of their skin or whatever, right? Like tattoos are often used as a signifier of someone who's lived a rough and tumble life, someone who has a little bit of a personality, and, like, having the tattoos that he does, like dice, cards, whatever these things are, it's like sailors, right? Like, it's the same way that we have this archetype in our head of sailors with tattoos all the way up and down their arms, like sort of rough and tumble types. They're sort of being used like that here. And it's like, there's a randomness to them, right? Like, it's not like he's had designed a whole sleeve and then, like, had that made over the course of, like, 5 months and 14 sessions by, like, one dedicated... This is like, no, he was drunk, he walked into a tattoo shop, hey, I want a couple of dice here. And then some cards, and then this, like, it looks like each thing is like, oh, this is evidence of one night out, and this is evidence of, like, another adventure. Kind of like, oh, hey, the fleur-de-lis. It feels like that, right? It doesn't feel like a guy who has, like, a fully designed, cohesive sleeve. It feels like tattoos for various things, right? I like that as an addition to Gambit. Outside of that, this is very much classic Rémi Lebeau. Maybe with a few more complications. I don't know that those belts are part of the classic design. But, like, with the little X symbols on the knee bits, because X-Men, like the X thing on the chest suit, yeah. I'm glad they didn't bulk him up to be a big fucking brick shit house. Because Gambit should never be a brick shit house. Gambit should always be slippery. Like, and they're still not like he's not jacked or whatever, but at least he's not Daredevil levels of pumped. I like that his trench coat is fucked up as well. Again, a good detail for a character like Gambit is that this trench coat has been with him through many heists and has been like something that's been shot through with bullets while he's been running away from many a disgruntled client, things like that. The battle damage on the coat adds to his personality, right? And I think there could be more of it. I do feel like the coat could be a little bit more fucked up here and there with like a patch or two or a stitch or a fix. But just the fact that the damage is there does the work for his character design, I think. I like the loose belt as well. I like the looseness of the whole thing. Like that he has this loose belt hanging, just kind of swinging. again, there's a sort of looseness to the attitude of the character, right? That this dude is a little bit casual with it. Ooh, hello. I did not see that. That is a fancy design on the back of the collar, Gambit. Another fleur-de-lis. Maybe that's a little much. I feel like the coat should be pedestrian. I don't think the coat should be super... Like, the staff should be. His cards should be. I feel like the coat probably shouldn't have that level of fanciness. I think the coat should be more mundane and ordinary, regular. Like a beat-up old duster that he just kind of loves. As a contrast to all the fancy gear. But minor detail, who cares? I do, but, you know. Okay, let me see your... Okay, slightly weak ending pose, I think. With all the action that's leading up to it, it feels like he's just kind of standing there in the ending pose. He's just kind of, I'm here with cards. Oh, wait. I cannot do a Cajun accent, don't ask me to. Wait, hang on. No, hang on. No. Let me... Okay, that's a little Ezio Auditore. That's a little... that's maybe a little bit... Oh, okay. We're just like, hey, Ubisoft doesn't have the money to sue us right now. Who cares? It's like, yeah, what the fuck are they gonna do? Okay, that's maybe a little... Like, with the fucking shoulder cape, really? Oh my god, and the hood shape? It's an homage. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. All right. Fair enough. That's a pretty good MVP for him, though. Like, pulling off a heist, that's a good MVP animation for him. I feel like Gambit should sit sexier, shouldn't he? Gambit should sit a little bit sexier. And I don't know, like, it might be an animation rig thing, but I think he should be able to cross his legs a little bit more daintily, like. Yeah, close-up magic. Oh, right, Deadpool's MVP. I completely forgot about that. That's pretty good. I like that. Good pose. A literal fourth wall break as well. He breaks the fourth wall with the MVP. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense for Deadpool. Again, Deadpool, you can make him as fucking annoying as you want forever. He shouldn't be cool. He should never be cool. Yeah, there we go. Good, very good. Right, like, even this fucking posing that he does with the guns looks bad, right? Like, it's the... Anyway, Remy. I don't have a lot to say about this. Like, the thing that saves this from just being fully an Assassin's Creed skin is the armor bits, right? Like, that, there's this armor bit, there's the gold accent nonsense, like that. Now it's legally distinct. Now it's not just like an assassin, because he even has the fucking wrist thing. That's sort of the thing that spares it, where it's a little bit more sort of... yeah, warrior paladin-esque in its expression because of that, but like the fucking over-the-shoulder cape with the hood. Come on, man. Yeah, alternate colorway. Pretty minor change, this one, I think. Just kind of making the coat black, more or less. still, I do kind of like him with a black trench coat. Like, it lacks a little bit of that softness, that color that, like, Gambit has. But I'm not opposed to it. Yeah, very, very basic palette swap, but that's fine. Yeah, Gambit should sit sexier than that. Like, he shouldn't just be with the thing. He should put the staff away and, like, lean over a little bit and, like, lounge. He should be a little dishabillé. Ah, well. Let's see. Who else haven't we seen? No one on... Oh, Loki! Hello! Oh, could we replay that? Hang on. Okay, interesting. So they're doing something weird with his head a little bit. His head looks too small for his body a little bit, but then the helmet makes up the difference. Oh, I've already done Loki. Have I? I do not remember. I have the memory of a goldfish or a man with ADHD. Yeah, they're doing like a... What is that? Hang on. That's... Yeah, he's like 8 heads tall. Proportionally. His head is very small. Which is like giving a character an extra small head. I don't know if I commented on this when I last looked at him, apparently. But, like, that's a classic move for when you want a character to look bigger than they... Like, to look even fucking bigger. Give them a small head relative to a huge body, right? Like, that's... Hulk is often designed this way, right? Tiny head, enormous body. With Loki, and I don't know if I noticed this last time, they're doing the same thing, but to make him look as tall and lanky as possible, along with the helmet. That works, actually. That's clever, because the helmet makes up the lacking bulk of his head, so it doesn't look disproportional, but once you actually start to measure it, he's like 8 or 9 heads tall. Anyway, we've looked at Loki already. I don't want to look at, like, because there's 5,000 billion new cosmetics for a lot of the characters. I know there's a Lady Loki one. Wait, the Lady Loki one is leaving, right? It's being removed? Okay, so let's take a look at that now while we're here. Is that supposed to be Nilhook? Okay. If she's calling a snake out of the world tree, that would be Nilhook, which is the serpent that gnaws the roots of Yggdrasil. Interesting. So, Loki is interesting in that I have not a comics expert. I should really do these videos with Sir Superhero or something. We might actually, him and I might do a Marvel Rivals thing at some point, or a Marvel thing collab over the summer. My memory is Loki is, at this point, canonically non-binary. Or gender fluid, one of the two. And likes to swap and switch between male-presenting, female-presenting, and androgynous forms, sort of just at will and at a whim. And that's sort of become part of their care. I don't know what pronouns Loki uses, though. Is Loki, like, pronouns match the appearance, or is it they, them? All pronouns. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's been, like, a relatively recent development in the comics. I don't know how far back that goes, but that's been a very cool part of developing Loki as a character. It also plays into, like, there's an old stereotype, right? Like, that gender ambiguity and deception are connected, right? And that's an old stereotype that exists in media. When you have a character who plays around with gender, who is, like, gender fluid, who's non-binary, who's, like, not one gender or another fully, that they are liars, that they're deceivers, that they are untrustworthy, right? Like, that's an old trope in media. And that's one that's still very much, like, attached to Loki being, like, a trickster character and, like, being the god of lies and trickery and deception. And then also they are non-binary. It's like a thing that's part of culture. Nonetheless, to the best of my knowledge, though, I don't think I've seen anyone be negative about Loki's portrayal when it comes to gender fluidity. Like, I think that's generally been very well received by pretty much everyone that I know about. Because, like, these contexts have changed, I think, over the years. I wish I could... Hang on. So if I do that and then this, I can skip it. Okay. I wish I could just fucking swap back and forth between Loki and Lady Loki. Yeah, okay, so they're doing some interesting silhouette work here. So, Lady Loki has obviously much more of an hourglass shape, right? Like, she's got much more of a, like, classic sort of feminine babe body thing going on. But they're managing the silhouettes quite well on base Loki just by having, like, by virtue of, like, this thing extending his hips out a little bit and giving a little bit of cover for it so that there is that space in the silhouette work. And also because Loki wears a cape, you can obviously do a lot more with... You can obviously do a lot more with a silhouette if you want to. Yeah, interesting. Because, like, the face especially seems... Yeah, they've changed his nose. I guess, as you might expect. Not that much, but it's, like, a little bit more narrow. Another thing about the helmet is concealing most of Loki's, like, the shape of his head and the jaw. But yeah, that's man. I wish there was like a model viewer for this game so I could swap more easily just to look at, because I'd be very curious about like the specifics of the changes they've made between the gender presentations. Because like they're definitely swapping something about the eyebrow shape. I think they're altering the eye shape a little bit as well. Yeah. But, like, the jaw seems to be mostly the same. I don't think there's that much of a change in the proportionality. And now, like, without the helmet making up the difference, the hair is being used to make up a lot of the difference along with the helmet. Or without the mask thing. Interesting. It's an interesting design challenge, right? And it's definitely, like, this is a version of Loki who is, like, sort of superhero babe in... design and costume sensibility, like snakes sort of curling around her thighs and like wearing a spandex sort of situation with like some real emphasis being put on the chest. High heels as well, which I think, again, I'd be curious how much of a mesh change they've had to do to justify the high heels relative to the regular shoes, because it doesn't seem like it changes the posture that much. Yeah. Interesting. Sorry, I'm just fascinated by, like, the conversion, by how much, because you have to maintain the character's physical affect, right? Like, you have to maintain the animations, you have to maintain most of the silhouettes, right? Like, you have to maintain a lot of things. The animation rig and things like that have to be maintained between the different forms. So the changes that they've made is, like, I'd be curious about a technical breakdown of the changes between Loki and Lady Loki to make it work with the same animation sets. Male Loki should also be given high heels, and I'm willing to die on that hill. Yeah, I think male Loki would be wearing high heels a lot of the time. Lady Loki's a little taller. Yeah. A little, yeah. That makes sense, I guess. So did they just, like... Because it's hard to tell between the helmet... and the... Yeah, she's a little taller. Not a lot. A little taller. That makes sense. I'm curious about that. I would love to see a technical breakdown of the difference between the two models. Because that's hard to tell in this model. Anyway, as a design, mostly just looks like classic villain Loki, right? Like classic sort of superhero Asgard villain with the big fur collar thing over the cloak. Lots of gold and green because those are the Loki colors. Haughty attitude, the huge crown, antler thing. I do like these. I like the medallions braided into the hair as an affect. Like, in fact, I think like maybe she could do with a little bit more jewelry, a little bit more finery. I guess the gold and the serpents are doing the job of that. But I do feel like a necklace or something, rather than like the triple triangle symbol here. Maybe a necklace or something to break up the uniform green of the chest and sort of draw a little bit more attention down from the head. This is solid. Interestingly, like, again, returning to this theme of Marvel Rivals as a fan service game, right? It's interesting that Lady Loki, she's sexy, but they didn't go all out like fucking like cleavage and like thong. Like they didn't go all out on making her super sexualized. Like that clearly wasn't the idea here. She's just sexy in the sort of regular way that female superhero characters tend to be. Which, like, on the one hand, I would like a Loki skin that's like full up on some fucking gender-bendy fan service shit. But I do like that they didn't do it with the only Lady Loki skin. I feel like they should be able to do, like, with Loki, they should be able to do more female skins. Like, it shouldn't just be Lady Loki. It feels like there should be, like, a bunch of different... Like, there should be, like, a Gunnar Lady Loki skin, right? And a Gunnar regular Loki skin. But, like, also a whole bunch of other shit you can do with a character who's explicitly, like, gender fluid. I feel like there should be more than just one. Because there is only one, right? Oh, right, I remember. Yeah. I guess this is Loki with some null power also. Okay, well, I'll save that for another video. We're looking at Lady Loki because she's going away. So, let's see. Who else is new? I don't think I looked at Phoenix yet. Okay, so they're playing very explicitly with... Oh, very explicitly. It's Phoenix with the Phoenix Force. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's why she's not Jean Grey. It's because she is the Phoenix here. Phoenix Force. I don't know that much about the comics lore, but I believe in comics there has been, like, multiple times in the comics history where she has reconciled or, like, come into, like, a mutual bond with the Phoenix Force, where it's, like, a thing that's, like, a neutral or happy part of her and not just, like, the Dark Phoenix embodiment of all her anger kind of vibe. At 3 sparks, Phoenix triggers a fire explosion. Okay.
You are nothing.
Ba-boom! And then full heal. Yeah, very good.
Catch me.
Ooh, hello. Hang on. I need to see that in action. I wish there was a faster way to do this. Because that flight looked interesting. Where is she? There she is.
Host is an outdated term. Jean Grey and I are one now. Follow if you dare.
Whee!
Reveal themselves.
Oh, I like that. I like that as a representation, as the way she gains flight. Yeah, whatever. Oh, that's cool. I like that.
You are nothing.
Whee! Oh, wait, the environment is destructible. Huh. I like that. Those wings are cool. That's really cool. Cool. Anyway, I just had to see that because, like, those wings are really cool. I like that the wings are not like that. It's not like wings in the sense of but more like streamers, more like something that like yeah, that like emerges from her hair too. That's really neat. And, like, it matches the character design on the element of the Phoenix itself because it has those streamers there that okay, that's actually really nice. That's cool. Because, okay, so we have these elements here, right? Like, the wings coming off the shoulder of the Phoenix, more like sort of fairy wings or streamers, or like a double cloak, like a clefted cloak or something along those lines. And that matches this double, like, element on Jean herself, which is, like, that's something she's had in her costume for a long time, I think. Or was that Rogue who used to have that? But these things, they match in sort of shape language with that. And then that combines to become like the fucking... That's pretty good character design, like coming out of her hair and then streaming down from her shoulders. That's solid character design work. Like integrating the silhouettes of the different... That Phoenix has a lot of ass. Integrating the silhouettes of these things... That, yeah, okay. Yeah, Phoenix is... Yeah, she's the mother of all life, all right. That's, whew. Now, the costume on Phoenix here is interesting. It's... At first, I thought it was like a stained glass thing. But I guess it's more of a sort of chaotic fractal kind of deal. It feels like it's meant to evoke, like, mathematical fractals. Repeated geometric patterns. It's a little odd. I guess it's a Marvel Rivals thing that has something to do with something in there. It looks cool, I guess. It also feels discordant. Like, this feels very separate in design aesthetic from the rest of her costume. And I'm wondering what to take from it. Because, like, it's a suit, right? It's not her body that just looks like that, so... Huh. I wonder about that. Because there's some elements of something insectoid a little bit. Some elements maybe like a magma. Or stained glass. I'm not really sure what to make of it. Like, it looks striking, but... What this roughness, what all this sharp edge shit here, relative to the softness and the emphasis on, like, organic forms, is supposed to do relative to the rest of it, I don't know. Because even from the perspective of rule of cool, I don't think this really works. Like, it sort of takes on the shape of... Like, you could argue that it's like a bird's head and wings, kind of. It's sort of... Maybe it takes on this sort of symbol of the phoenix that I think Jean had on her suit at one point or another. And, like, green is life. Like, green is life energy, but the phoenix itself is all orange and purple and red. So... Yeah, not really sure what to make of that green color. Like, design-wise, in terms of what it communicates about her. Hang on, let me see the MVP first. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that armor thing. Like, as an element of her character design, I'm not sure how to read it, what to take from it. I guess cosmic weirdness. I guess it's cosmic weirdness. It's a result of being bonded to But again, if this is supposed to be representative of the power or influence of the Phoenix Force, I would expect the Phoenix Force to mirror it, right? Like, I would expect the Phoenix Force to have those same shapes embedded in its outline or in its powers, or have the same color or in some way interact with it. So I don't know, man. It feels disconnected. It feels like Rule of Cool, but not something that was like visually designed to connect with the rest of the character. Oh, hello. Okay. Well. That's that side boob center cleavage thing is like, damn. So I guess essentially here we're doing like a figure skater outfit, right? That seems to be the idea of it, is that we're playing with like Fire Ice theme, and we're doing like a figure skater outfit. And as a figure skater outfit, this is pretty credible, actually, like outside of the supernatural elements. It's like, that feels like something you could see at the Winter Olympics, really. Like, maybe slightly less sexualized. They tend to be a little bit more conservative about those things, but yeah, that works, I guess. I don't know that skater is something that I would immediately... Ooh, hang on. Yo, that's pretty cool. They're projecting these flame effects up her thighs? Okay, that's kind of badass. Coming out of the ice like that, that's pretty cool. And the fact that her tights are like ice that's like freezing up her legs, I like that. That's a good excuse to like do bare thigh and like the fan service bit, but in a way that like, that's pretty cool. Again, this feels like something that's mostly designed just to look high impact and like a lot, right? Like it's supposed to be sort of Rule of Cool kind of vibe, but there is some thought going into like the sort of figure skater thing and just adding some cool effects like burning ice up her thighs. Maybe the flame should be blue rather than red. I don't know. I like her hair here. I do. It's chaotic in an interesting way. Like the hair is essentially supposed to be part of the headpiece, so it's part of this like very posed, very sort of excessive, especially as a contrast to like the fairly natural hairstyle, again, as natural as you get in a game like this, that she has in her base form. This is like all done up in a way to really play up the contrast. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Like, I don't 100% know that I like the orange and blue. Like, I get the theme is fire and ice. I don't 100% like the combination of the orange and blue. It feels a little bit loud in a way that doesn't necessarily cohere for me, but the fit itself is pretty cool. Like, it's sexy, but there's clearly a little bit like some interesting shape language, like these curly feathers down into it. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it was designed just to be horny. It feels like there was some fashion interest going into it. Huh. Chaos Phoenix, raw. Oh, chaos magic. So she has like Wanda's Scarlet Witch thing going on also. Okay, so this is Scarlet Witch Phoenix. Okay. Literally stealing her fucking headgear. Yeah, okay, I guess. Fair enough, I suppose. Again, the bright orange into the purple feels like a sort of clashing color match. Yeah, here we have these shapes returning, right? Like, so I guess, are those supposed to be chaos magic as well? Or representative of chaos in some way? I don't know. They do feel more justified here, because here we're playing with a strict contrast, right? The Phoenix Force is orange, right? Like orange and red, that all comes from the Phoenix Force. And then chaos magic is all purple and like this dark and shit like that, right? So this here is aesthetically, visually connected. This is chaos magic things. And then over top of that, you have these Phoenix elements superimposed, like the feather elements and things like that. So that makes more instinctive sense of like the odd shape language that this hard rock formation stuff, that's all connected to chaos, and then all of the softer, more organic stuff, that all comes from the Phoenix element. Even if, like, the colors feel clashy to me a little bit. Well, maybe not clashy, they just don't feel coherent. They don't feel like they're pushing towards, like, a cohesion or fusion of the two, so much as, like, a clash of the two. Yeah, they're doing a sort of hot topic, well, not hot topic, really, but more of, like, a sort of, Etsy hedge witch thing a little bit with like the overlapping cloth bits and like the coin belt and the feathers. It's a little bit burlesque as well, just in the campness of it. I kind of like the starfield in her leggings. That's a fun effect. Yeah, as a bit of fashion, it looks chaotic, but that's what it's supposed to be. Like, that's the point of all of, like, all these overlapping bits of cloth and, like, all of this visual noise from all of the things is, like, I think that's supposed to evoke chaos, chaoticness, right? Like, in the same way that these hard crystal edges are. And I guess it works. It just, to me, it feels a little half-baked. To me, it feels like there's a middle point missing between the Phoenix bits and the Chaos Witch bits. Where, like, if there's supposed to be a fusion of the two, rather than just the two mashed together, it feels like there should be a more gradiated transition from one to the other. Which I'm not 100% seeing here. I do like the bright orange sort of flame effect in her hair. That's pretty nice. Ah, Dark Phoenix. See, that's the sigil, right, of the Dark Phoenix. Like this chest thing. And we can kind of see that same shape here, right, in the weird stained glass shit on regular Phoenix. But it's just not clear to me that if that's supposed to be the Phoenix, it doesn't connect to me. I don't know. A little bit more complex than the classic Dark Phoenix outfit, as I recall it. I think the classic Dark Phoenix color was green, right? It was a green costume originally that she wore as the Dark Phoenix. Which, again, like, that would connect with the green in the regular Phoenix here thing, but, yeah, I don't know. I like the hair here. Again, we talked about it with Angela, right? Like a big, bright, bold, like fluffy mane of red hair as an expression of like passion and anger and unleashed, like unleashed emotions and feelings. Because that's what the Dark Phoenix used to be, right? Because to my memory, Jean Grey in the X-Men, she used to be the good girl, right? Like, she used to be the girl next door. She used to be like the sweet little uncomplicated Scott Summers girlfriend. Like, she was sort of the all-American good girl in X-Men for a good long while, and that's why when they did Dark Phoenix, there was so much emphasis on this is her being the bad girl. Like, this is her unleashing all the angry feelings, all like the sexual, like there was a lot of sexualization that went on with Dark Phoenix in the original storylines, where like this was like the bad version of her kind of vibe, aligning with a lot of gender politics that were going on at the time as well. Here, they're sort of pulling back on, this is not like the sexualized sort of horny version of girl who's no longer denying her impulses kind of vibe. Instead, it's much more about unleashed passion, right? Unleashed fury, unleashed power, of like not holding anything back, of all of the fiery rah that's inside of her, right? Again, as contrast with regular Phoenix, where the hair is placid, it's down, it's hanging, it's loose. And here it's like fucking halfway towards the Super Saiyan transformation, right? And it's a clever design, like it's a useful design element to use the hair that way. In the same way that a hat can sort of make the difference between someone who just looks like a nobody and someone who looks important. A big, wild head of hair as a character design element can do a lot to communicate that a character is wild by nature, right? So I quite like that, the way that it's used here. Very intentional, clearly. And then just the colorway. Yeah, I think that looks worse. I think the green against the yellow and the orange for like her red hair, and then the orange of the spirit, that's probably better than this red and blue. That feels... yeah. But oh well, that's just a palette swap. That could be hornier. That like that they should get a little bit more. They should get a little closer to kissing there. They should get a little more. Like, you're dancing, like, come on. But like they keep having this distance between them, like they're making space for Jesus. Like, come on. Like this, you could get a little bit more intimate there. What's with this like 15-centimeter gap between the chest things? Like, come on. There was a prime opportunity here for Yuri. Like a really prime opportunity for Yuri. How did you not take it? Honestly. Disappointing. Like, it is there, right? Like, it's two hot girls dancing with each other. It's inevitably there. There is that little lean back kind of thing. But when Jean is leaning back there, the Phoenix Force should be leaning towards her. Like, instead of just, like, leaning back like that. Yeah, like, come on. Come on, you could have made that a little bit more lesbian. Okay, so this is like another... oh, okay, that makes the skin make a little bit more sense for what it is. So this is also part of the Marvel Rivals thing where it was Hela and Null and Dracula and Vamp, like, same as the Blade skin, right? Like the super unleashed rule of cool thing. Okay. I will say the skin makes a bit more sense from that perspective. That it's supposed to be like a rule of cool, slamming all the coolest shit together kind of skin. That does make it work a little bit better for me. When that's the purpose. Oh, I like that. Not, the end pose there is maybe a little bit... she should look scarier there, but this MVP, like the way they pull out and then the wings and then the planet goes, that's pretty cool. That could have a better final splash art over that though. Like, she should be Akuma posing in the final splash. She should be fucking Akuma posing looking over her shoulder with like the fiery wings coming off her shoulders kind of vibe. Oh, hang on. Let's swap back to the regular costume. Again, this feels like when she sits down, it feels like the Phoenix Force should like rest on her. It feels like the Phoenix Force should come in close and like rest its head on her shoulders or something. I think, honestly, hang on. Let me just... like, especially from the perspective that part of how the Phoenix Force helps her use her powers is like this literal draping over her like a cloak kind of thing. I think if I have a main criticism of Phoenix is I think there should be more physical interaction between her and the Force. Again, not necessarily just for Yuri purposes, but like you can see it here, right? Like it's a really nice little detail, the way that she holds out a thing and then the Phoenix Force comes in and adds. I think there should be more physical contact between them. I think there should be more... like here, I think the Phoenix Force should like rest itself on her. Like she sits down, it comes in and like rests on the thing as well and like rests against her shoulder. Again, because the point of them here is that they're connected, right? Like the two of them are in symbiosis. They are friends, essentially, right? They have closed the gap in their relationship and they now work towards a common purpose. One of the classic ways to show that kind of... because there is a little bit of that acknowledgement there where they look at each other, right? Is to have the characters be physically intimate with each other, comfortable. Again, not necessarily in a Yuri way, although I would appreciate it, but just in a we are two halves of a whole kind of way, right? Like, because that's the idea of them, is that they are two halves of one whole. They are two souls joined together in one thing kind of vibe. Same here. Like, that feels like that should be a little bit... Literal Scarlet Witch crown. I assume that's for this one. Very funny. Very fourth wall. Very funny. Let's see. Who else haven't we looked at? I think we looked at Thor, right? Yeah, I've looked at Thor. Oh, Ultron is here. Very MCU in his character design, although in fairness, I don't really know what he looks like in the comics nowadays. Now, here's one for the robot fuckers, though. Oh my god, is this one for the robot fuckers? Hang on. Oh, look at that. So, one thing about robot fuckers, right? Robot fuckers love a robot, but they love the insides of a robot also. Like, robot fuckers, if you look at the artwork and, like, the kinds of thing... Parts of the body being open, especially like open to wiring, open to like internal mechanisms and things like that. Like the way that bodies can have holes and like be penetrable. Like that, it's a thing with a robot character that like you can reach your hand through them in a way. That's part of the sensual thing that robot fuckers often get off to. They're doing a little bit of that with Ultron here, like the way that there's bits of him carved out. Like, he doesn't have a human anatomy. That is shit that robot fuckers have a tendency to appreciate. Like, snatch little weight. They could give him slightly wider hips, I think, but... Yeah, no, like, there's some robot fuckers who are very pleased with this. The sharp claws as well. Not in the sense that this is necessarily like again, it's not like a skin that's necessarily designed to be sexy, but it's a skin that's definitely gonna be to a certain crowd. Yeah, I like the monochromatic element of Ultron. I like that he's mostly black, like various shades of black, like with it verging into the dark gray, and then he has this internal fire, right? Like we have these internal glows of heat, of power that are sort of like flowing out from inside of him. That's menacing. Like it's a very sort of Sauron color scheme, right? Again, that little exposed tube there, very the sort of thing that a robot enthusiast would get into. The spinal cord running up, especially in his idle pose here, like the way the neck hangs over and then that curves down into there, into his back, and like you follow the spinal cord down. Oh yeah, that's the kind of shit that a robot enjoyer can definitely find some fun in. I like the color scheme. Like, I like that the color scheme is so restrained because that allows them to really play with the inner glow thing. And, like, use that to highlight his joints, highlight under his pecs here. Really play with the uncanny weirdness of his face. That's another thing, right? Robot fuckers, generally, it just sort of depends a little bit, but generally speaking, robot fuckers don't want a robot that just looks like a hot guy or a hot girl. They want a robot that looks like a hot robot, right? Like a robot that looks robotic, that looks mechanical, that looks non-human in some very key ways. Especially the face is often like this. When you look at like hardcore robot fuckers, they don't draw androids with human faces a lot of the time. They have like screens, they have like these flat, empty, like they have these sort of abstract construct things. Like that's the kind of thing that they get off on because that's what makes them different, right? So like this organic shape, like these soft curves around, but then the sharpness, right? Like that's intimidating. That feels correct from that perspective. Again, I don't know what Ultron looks like in the comics nowadays, but he has looked like that in the movies. More or less. It feels like a design that takes off mostly from the MCU anyway. Let's see. Infinity Ultron. Ultron, but he has the Infinity Stones, I guess. Yeah, see, they gave him lips. Wrong. Incorrect. Incorrect. He should not have those. That he's no longer a hot robot. Now he's just a dude in a robot suit. No. Incorrect. Wrong. Wrong. Take those away. Get rid of them. And yeah, generally they changed his anatomy to be a lot more human in a suit. I guess, I don't know if this is a version of him that's merged with the Vision, maybe? I don't know. He has the cloak. But it's definitely missing a lot of that leanness that he has there. Okay, it's from Marvel's What If, which yeah, it was from the actual television show. So, okay, fair enough. I guess that's how they designed it. And if it's a version that's supposed to be merged with the Vision, then I guess, okay. But, yeah, whatever. Doesn't do much for me. Oh, hello. This is very much a rule of cool design. Oh, my goodness. Wow, that's busy. That gold is gaudy. That's kind of... Like, all the ways that this feels kind of restrained and kind of like it has that quiet menace coolness to it, right? Like a machine that hates you but isn't burning you to death right now. This is a little bit more, hello, I am Ultron, I am the villain of the universe, rah! It's a little bit, that's a little bit more He-Man. That's a little more cheeseball. He looks a little bit like he shows up in a plastic package with the words "batteries not included" printed on it. This is a little bit more toyetic. I'm not really a fan of all this gold. Like, that's way too fucking much. Especially like because it feels like the face design, right, with these insectoid slit diamond eyes kind of thing. It feels like he's supposed to be intimidating, and he just kind of isn't. Like, he looks way too gaudy to be scary. Yeah, this is way too much. This doesn't feel intimidating or scary. This feels overcompensating. I think that's the word I'll use, overcompensating. This is too much. This is doing way too much. Ooh, oh, hello. Speaking of the robot fuckers. Oh, this is pornography to a certain kind of robot fucker, let me tell you. I've seen that artwork. I have seen that artwork. Like, again, a lot of the robot fucking, a lot of it is about this idea of, like, reaching in and, like causing a short circuit or sparking something. Like, so much robot fucker porn, is not really recognizable as porn, because what it is the robot is on the table and being disassembled, and then the other person is like disassembling them, and it's causing like short circuits, and like they're convulsing and shit like that because some actuators are firing or something like that. But it's about the mechanics. It's about the interiority a lot of the time. It's about this idea that you can reach into someone and fix them or break them, right? Like, that's where a lot of it comes from, and a lot of it, like the tubes and all of that, like, yeah, no, I've seen that. I've seen that artwork. Scrapbot. I like that. So this is also very busy, right? Like, in the same way, like, this is very busy because it's got a lot of shit going on. This is too, but it's not as gaudy because it's not, the values are handled better, right? Like, a lot of it is just kind of dark and sort of fades into itself. And so the busyness is, like, less distracting. It's still noisy. Like, it's still the sort of thing that's noisy in terms of a character design, but it does feel like it's noisy towards the point of, like, that he is broken, right? Like, that this is a scrap bot who has assembled himself from whatever is available, right? He has this one primitive hand that's just made of, like, 2 actuators and a little bit of, then he has, like, the more advanced one with, like, the power in it and shit. Yeah, good use of asymmetries as well, right? Like that he's damaged over here, but he's not over there. He has the one arm that's like more thick and full, the one that's more robotic and skeletal. He has the knee pad there that's like red with these like rivets on it or whatever the fuck they are. And then he has this like on the calf there. That's good. If you want a character to be messy, if you want a character to look like they're sort of cobbled together from bits and pieces or from random whatever, Bebop in Deadlock is another good example. Just make them asymmetrical. Like, make one side not made of the same stuff as the other, and you kind of get that scrapyard vibes thing across. Usually it's left to right symmetry that you play with there, but you can also do it top to bottom. Yeah, the face is maybe a little bit... Like, that's very sort of Grim Reaper-ass with the cloak and the face thing. Like, I think that could maybe... You could play a little bit less with the menacing shit and more with the scrap shit. This feels too... Like it feels like if this was more of a fucked up rusted head or something, maybe that would play a little bit better to the archetype. Whereas, like, with the cloak and with, like, the skull face aspect, it's a little bit too much like, I am the Grim Reaper, where I feel like this is more fun if it's, I am cobbled together from whatever I could find, right? You can do stuff with anachronism in a design like this. This is not necessarily for this skin specifically, but you can do stuff with, like, he's assembled himself from a bunch of different pieces. Some of those pieces were from robots that were not, like, deadly and made of spikes and hate and... Like, he took one bit from a robot that's like a Roomba, right? Like, he took one bit from a robot that's a sex robot. Like, shit like that, where you can create some interesting anachronisms in the character by adding pieces that just don't come from the same functional universe, right? Like, the same universe of function. And I think they could have done something more interesting with the head than this. This feels a little stereotypical, where the rest of the body, I like the tubes. I like the exposed mechanics. That it feels like it's just whatever he could beat into shape. This feels a little... It's Scarecrow. That's why. It's Scarecrow from fucking... from Batman Arkham games. That's why. That's the thing that annoys me. That's what it's about. That's why. I had a negative reaction to the head, and I was trying to figure out why. It's Scarecrow. He looks like Scarecrow. That's why. That's why. And I don't think he needs to. Like, I think the Menace doesn't need a big black cloak and, like, the... all of that shit going on. But yeah, like, if you want to understand the appeal of robot fucking, it's a thing of, like, this huge, scary, deadly murder machine has no choice but to surrender and be vulnerable to you while you put it down on the table and fix it. Right? Like, there's power play there. There's a lot of power dynamics. Divatra from Overwatch is another example of people who, like, really get into that shit with, like, the big, evil, scary murder robot or the murder robot that wants to kill, and then Diva as this, like, you have a thing that's broken on you and I'm gonna fix it. Sit your ass down and spread your legs. I need to get into your crotch in order to get to... Like, that's where that comes from, right? It is of a kind with... like, there's overlap between that and exploitation shit. Like, where you have, like this relationship between a person and a machine where you eroticize those elements of mechanical control. But, like, it is often playing with that sense of, like, this big, scary murder robot, and I'm reaching into its chest cavity, and I'm sparking a wire, and it's having essentially a tech orgasm in its head, and trying not to show it. Like, that's the kind of power play that you play with for those things. Okay, so green Ultron, but a little bit lighter in the color. Yeah, I'm not sure I like the lighter... Well, both lighter and darker. Higher contrast, certainly. Yeah, sure, that's fine, I guess. Oh, that's a bit boring. That's not very much. He just kind of takes an arm blade out. You could do a little bit more with that. The lips, they're wrong. It's good horror, I guess, but the lips are just wrong. The big red vision lips, they're just wrong. They're just wrong. Yeah, still a bit He-Man. To me, still a bit He-Man. I like the final pose on it. Even if the action that leads up to it, I don't really know. But, like, the final pose is very Skeletor. The final pose is very, yeah, I'm taking over the universe! Yeah, there's a campness to it, Living Legend, you're right. Like, there is a campness to it that's like, if he wasn't so fucking gold, if there was a little bit, just one or two other colors there, I think would be very charming. Yeah, that's for the robot fuckers. That is for the robot fuckers. It is. It really is. Like the sparks and the self-assembly and the... Yep, nope, yep. Pretty cool. Like, I really like that. I like that self-assembly animation shit that they've got going on there. And then, like, the scary look over the shoulder thing there as a final pose, that's pretty effective. He sits a little cunty. I like that. I like the stillness of that one as well. Yeah, the Angela skin was not for the robot fuckers as much as I thought it would be, but Ultron is delivering for you guys. I'm happy for you. Let's see. Anyone else? Have I looked at Rogue? Because I've done Rocket Raccoon and Scarlet Witch, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I've done Rogue, have I? There's not anyone... Did I do Mantis? Yes, I did. Oh, chat is saying Rogue is new. Okay, let's do... I think Rogue is the last one, then. Hey, sugar. As much as I do like the Rogue in the X-Men movies... It's like, if Rogue isn't calling you sugar, if she doesn't have that white streak of hair, like, ooh. Yeah, this is very classic Rogue. Like, this is sort of... I don't know the eras. I'm really not as well read with X-Men as I perhaps should be, given how much I kind of like the characters in it. But, like, the crop top bomber jacket thing... And the green, like the green and yellow suit, that feels very of a 80s, 90s X-Men period to me. 90s designed by Jim Lee, yeah. Because this is the Rogue that I remember seeing on comic covers when I was a kid. The white, like, ladies, if you're ever worried about, like, getting gray streaks of hair, don't be. Like, I think maybe they've gone a little too hard on it here, but, like, gray streaks of hair is, like, it doesn't matter what hair color you have. It's, like, oh. Girls, like, you do not die. Do not dye it. Do not do it. You have no idea. Listen, shut up. If a woman looked over her shoulder at me like, you... Just, like, fuck off. Yeah, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, again, props to the animator. Like, they fucking know how to pose her. So she's fairly thick, like relative, like with superhero ladies, it sort of depends on the artist who's drawing them, but they do have a tendency to be very sort of thigh gap, very narrow waists, right? Like very like hourglass shape. Rogue here is a little bit thicker, like there's some actual musculature on her. I don't know how muscular her arms are under there, but it does feel like this is more of like, oh wow, okay, yeah, no. It still has the superhero ass, definitely. But this does feel like a thicker version than you would usually, like, compared to, like, where is Invisible Woman? Like, compare and contrast with Invisible Woman, right? Who is technically more of a MILF than Rogue is, given that she is a mom. But, like, she has this very, very, very tiny waist. Like, same thing with, like, Luna Snow, right? Very, very tiny waist, like, very thin thighs, ultimately. Rogue is, like, definitely a lot more built than that. Like, there's a lot more junk in that trunk. There's a lot more cake in that bakery. I like that. I appreciate that. Like, she's not, like, built like a wrestler or a powerlifter, but there's definitely more of a sense of physical strength here. Which is the thing about Rogue, is like, I think, if I remember right, most of Rogue's base power set at this point comes from one time where she touched Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, and absorbed her powers, and then even after the powers returned, she kept enough of them that she could fly and be super strong, if I remember right. So she's always had super strength. She's always been a bruiser, like, in terms of her power set. Yeah, there's some thickness there. I like that. Like, because the thing about, like, when we talk about, like, body diversity in superhero comics and things like that, like, when we talk about, it's not just, oh, they're not allowed to be sexy anymore, right? Like, it's not just, oh, they're not allowed to be sexualized, they're not allowed to be hot. No. Even within the category of they need to be hot, you can do more than one thing. Like, there's many different body types that you can put in a tight-ass spandex, and they'll look hot as fuck, right? As you can see on your screen right the fuck now, right? It doesn't have to just be the same body type over and over again. Even within, if you only want to do hot characters, even if you only want to do hot, sexualized babe characters, there's a variety of things you can do in terms of morphology with a body that still works. I appreciate, again, it's something I appreciate about Marvel Rivals, is that you have, like, the very sort of classically skinny, right, like the superhero babe body kind of vibe. They exist, right? You got a few of those. And then you also got just 5 tons of beef right there on the slab. And then you have, like, things that are a little bit more, like, not that she has a mom bod, I would say, but, like, something where they have, like, these long hips from, like, a fairly short torso. There is a level of variety in Marvel Rivals that I appreciate, which, like, not that it's, like, progressive Wonderland, but, like, you got fucking Squirrel Girl, like, who I think they could make chubbier even. And it is better than Overwatch is doing nowadays. Like, Overwatch used to have that, right? Like, Overwatch used to have that thing of, like, oh shit, we've got Mei who's fat, except in half of her skins they made her skinny anyway for some freaking reason. And you got, like, Zarya, you've got Tracer, like, they used to have cornered the market on that. I think Rivals is kind of doing a better job in some respects. They still need some fucking fat characters in there. Like, just, like, there needs to be one. But there is a good variety here where it feels like it's not just about reproducing the same idealized body type over and over, but about going, here's a bunch of different body types, let's make all of them horny, right? Like, let's make many different body types hot and horny. Let's appeal to people who enjoy many different kinds of body types. Oh, speaking of... Yeah, no, okay, yeah, What were you talking about? I'm sorry, I blacked out for a second, I think.
Hey.
Ha! What? Yeah. No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I had to do. I got a phone call. Something happened. Don't worry about it. Whoa. Okay. Once again, battle scars. I appreciate that. I appreciate that the battle scars are not pretty. Right? Like that they are actually, this looks like she was fucking, something tore some skin off of her fucking body, right? Yeah, no. Yep. Yep. I appreciate that. Oh, fuck. They're getting away. How, I don't know what the rating on this game is, but like, I know she's wearing like a pair of like panties essentially under this, but the shit they're getting away with the torn and like the implication of like, why? Okay, yeah, no. Hello, hi, ma'am. Another thing about Marvel Rivals also, there is jiggle physics, right? Like there is jiggle physics on breasts and on like pecs and on like various bits of the characters, but they are pretty subtle, all things considered. They're there, right? Like you can see the little bounce if you're looking for it. But it's not like Dead or Alive beach volleyball levels, right? Like it's not like sort of excessively stupid. It's not thirst trappy in that way. It's just present in it. Again, it's about tangibility. It's about like implying. And that's another thing, right? Like is when and where jiggle physics are deployed in a lot of character design, it's very arbitrary. It's like the titties bounce, the ass bounces, but every other part of the body, not so much. And like, again, I want to frame by frame my way. I want to have high definition footage of this to look at so I can frame by frame my way through it for an animation breakdown. Not for any other reason. Shut up. Leave me alone. But I'd love to... I feel like I should record and take a look at the ways in which they're using like physics simulation. Because like the physics simulation is there on the belt, right?
Hey.
You can see it. The belt jiggles, the hair jiggles as I rotate her model, right? Meanwhile, other bits, I think, are bespoke animation, because, like, the breasts don't jiggle when I jiggle her, right? They stay in place. They stay where they are. So that has to be hand animated, I think. I think that's not just procedural physics generation. And yet, if you look at, like, the way when she switches her pose there, right? She does a quick, like, snap of the thigh. And I don't know that they have animated actual jiggle on her thighs here, but it looks like that. Like, it feels like in the animation process, the animator is paying attention to that physical feedback on the character, and that's interesting to me. Especially in a game like Marvel Rivals, that they have this snap jiggle that they do on the character striking strong poses, which, like, again, really aids in the physicality of it. Again, and that's like that little snap jiggle is the sort of thing that, again, you're unlikely to see in something like Zenless Zone Zero, for example. But something which they're paying pretty close attention to, apparently, on the Marvel Rivals team. Good on them. And also, like, I do like that in terms of, like, this is Rogue, and she's been stranded in the Savage Land, right? I guess she's surviving, and, like, her clothes are being torn to shreds over time. And, like, they're not being torn to shreds in a stylish way, right? Like, it's like, this shit is being ragged and torn to bits in an ugly way, in a messy way, right? Like, this is not something that's, like, where, like, the way she jumps and she snaps her hips and then the ass jiggles, good lord. It's not pretty, right? Like, it's not cool. It's like her clothes are being torn. Her clothes are... can't look at her from that angle. Her clothes are being torn ragged, right? Like, and it's believable in that way. And I do like that. That, like, they're not... It's not chic destroyed clothing. It's just destroyed clothing. And the colorway. I kind of like the black jacket on her. I don't know about, like, swapping to red and white. That's a little bit... What's the Canadian team called that Logan used to be on? I don't know. It's a little bit that. It feels like. I don't know about the red and white, but the black jacket? I can kind of dig it. Alpha Flight. Yeah, Alpha Flight. That's what they're called. That low angle. She's so cheerful, too. That's another thing. Like, again, thinking of the X-Men movies, right? Rogue is an emo teen in those movies. Which, like, again, it works for what those films are. And the way that they, like, problematize her power and the queer allegory. But I like that this is Rogue with good humor. This is Rogue who's cheerful and happy and just so happy to see you, sugar. I do appreciate that. That's fun. Okay, that's the Savage Land one. Let's get her in costume. Punching out a dinosaur. Hell yeah. That is dude's rock energy right there. Brackets, gender neutral. I do... Ooh, the flash frame. There's a good flash frame on that when the punch lands. And, like, the extreme foreshortening in the... Like, when you can see the zoom in on the fist and then it lands. That's a pretty good animation. I could look for that at that for a while. But let's... Before I get hypnotized again. Okay. I've looked at Lady Loki T. Gabriel. I've already been there. I think that was all of the new heroes. Now, there's 5 billion cosmetics also to look at, some of which have been removed from the game, which is a little bit disappointing. I feel like it's okay that they're not in the shop anymore, but it's annoying if they remove them even from the gallery so you can see them. I think that's everyone. So that will be the end of this video, I think. Yeah, and then I'll be back to look at some of the new cosmetics at some later point when I can find the time to do it. So, yeah. Thanks for watching Rogue. I mean, looking at the skin, Marvel Rivals, Heroes, other things. We were looking at other things than Rogue, I'm sure, at some point. I don't remember anymore. Oh, right, the abilities. Yeah, no, I'm fine. I remember things. And you can have it too. What? Wait, what? Is that her run animation? Oh, hang on. Fuck, I was about to end the video. God damn it. Okay, Rogue is somewhere. Did I go past her? Where the hell is she? Oh, there she is.
Better watch out. I'm feeling a little touchy today.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's
fancy seeing you here.
That's a good voice. Okay, interesting run animation. It's sort of a... Yeah, it's very exuberant. Like, it's not a super serious sort of cool hero run animation. There's like there's a chunkiness to it.
Gather round. Aw, look what you made me do.
Oh, that's a good dive kick. Oh, drain. I see.
Nighty night, sugar. Double kill! That's 3!
Okay.
Well, look who's up to no good.
Interesting. There is like a slight chunkiness to this run animation that's kind of charming. Because it's not like a cool superhero run animation, right? Like, there's a... There's a weight to that that's interesting. Okay, cool. Again, I wish I could change the camera and look at this from different angles, but okay, fine, fair enough. Anyway, enough. That's the end of it. That's the ending the video now. Ending it. Goodbye.